Hello everyone! In the last video we have seen how to download, compile and integrate MathParseKit in one of your projects. Today I'd like to show you how it can help you to speed up development in a real-world scenario. So I've built this little example project that is nothing more than the full project that Visual Studio will build if you create a new Win32 project. I've just changed it in this location, that is where the window is created. Here normally there will be flags that tell the system to choose the location and the size of the window. I've changed it and I'd like to set this value to value that I choose. So I'm using these four variables that are x, y, width and height, and I'm reading it from a settings file. How am I doing it? I'm using getPrivateProfileInt, that is a Windows API. It's this Windows API that takes few parameters that are the app name, that is actually this section, the name of the section, key name, this is the name of these properties, the key, the element at left, and a default value. For example, here I've set it to 100 for the location, 600 for the width, 400 for the height, and last but not least, the name of the file from which read this information. Here I've called it settings. So, what can I do with this? If I build it and run it, the window will be in the default location. But if I simply change the settings file, for example, I tell the window to go to x300 and have a width of 800, without recompiling the application, I can change the location and the size of the window, simply changing the settings file. This is good, but which is the problem? In this situation, I cannot do fancy stuff. For example, I would like to say the window to be in the middle of the screen, or to be the same width of the screen, or the same height, or do things like this. If I want to do this in a settings file, normally I have to do a lot of stuff. I have to think about every possible combination. I have to add properties in the settings file to configure these things, and it's not so easy. I have already configured this project to integrate MathParseKit, and I'll show you how it can help you. I've written this simple function that has the same signature of getPrivateProfileInt, but it's called mpk getPrivateProfileInt. And here is the implementation. Okay, I'm using getPrivateProfileString, that is more or less the same as getPrivateProfileInt. It just has more or less the same parameters, apart from these two that are actually a pointer to the buffer where the function is going to write the information read from the settings file. So in this case, I have this buffer. This is an array of characters, a standard C string. So if I'm reading nothing from the settings file, I will return the default value. This is the expected behavior of this function. If there is nothing in the settings file, I will return the default value. If there is something in the file, I've tried to interpret it. So I instantiate a parser. I'll part the function. This is more or less the same as we have done in the previous video. Here, if the function is null, so there is a syntactic error in the function, I will return the default value, because this is the expected behavior. Then, if the function is a valid function, I will initialize the variables list, adding two variables, named w and age. These variables are the horizontal and vertical sides of the desktop, of the screen. I've used this function that I've taken from Stackoverflow that does this. I simply reads this information from the system. Okay, I had these two variables, so the function can use this variable to compute the values. Then I'll solve the function. Then I'll set the default value for the return to the default. And if the result is a constant, here we are not sure that it will be a constant because maybe we are using variables that are not defined, so it will not be a constant. But if it is a constant, I'll get the value out, overwrite the return value, and always remember to free the memory. We have not a garbage collector, so we need to free the memory, and we will return the value. So how can I change now the project? I can simply take this and replace here. Instead of get profile hint, I will use this new version. So what I'm expecting, that if we do not change, the settings file now will work as before. So let's build it. Let's run it. Okay, it's working as before. But now I can do fancy stuff. For example, I can say the window to stay at W third, W over 3. So it will be at W over 3, so a third of the width of the screen from the left of the screen, and it will have a width of a third of the screen. So let's check it out. Okay, he's here. We have a third here, a third here, and the window is a third of the screen. Then I can do other things. For example, I can say that I want the y-coordinate to be age over 2 minus 200. So let's check it out. As you see, is in the middle, minus 200. Then I'd like the window to be 16 by 9, for example. So I can copy the width and set it over 16 times 9. Let's close it. Let's run it again. Another window is 16 by 9. And I can do this dynamically. If I change the resolution, if I go to another computer that has a different resolution of the screen, it will work. It will set it to the middle with these sides, with these offsets, and it will work. So I think that in this situation, MathParseKit is helping you because it's giving you the power to set this information without wasting your time trying to think a priori to all these possible situations in the code. It just allow you to do this computation in the settings file. So if you have questions, if you have doubts, or if you want to suggest me the subject of the next video, just write it in the comment below. So thank you for your attention. See you guys.